Hi, everyone. It is Monday, 6:30 p.m., and we're starting Fire, Water, Air, and Earth, episode number 35. Thanks again for joining. Hope you get something out of this. And why don't we start with a quote? And this quote is from one of the tarot masters of the world, Arthur Edward Waite. And for those of you who are tarot enthusiasts, you might recognize his name from the Rider Waite tarot deck. Rider was the name of the publisher, and Waite is the name of the man who helped design it, along with, of course, the artist Pamela Coleman Smith. She drew all the images and illustrated the Rider Waite deck, and Arthur Edward Waite um, helped to design it and wrote the book that usually accompanies the deck. So this quote is from The Key to the Tarot, Part 2. And he writes about the tarot, Arthur Edward Waite does. The tarot embodies symbolical presentations of universal ideas behind which lie all the implicits of the human mind. And it is in this sense that they contain secret doctrine, which is the realization by the few of truths embedded in the consciousness of all. So he's basically saying that people who understand the tarot, people who use the tarot, understand that the images and the structure are referring to something deeper within the mind of humanity. It's kind of hearkening back to Carl Jung and his idea of the collective unconscious and how we all kind of share a common bond, a common experience, and a common understanding of the world um, through our history, through our traditions, through our understanding of the world, stories, fables, myths, these things. So the tarot is a really good way to understand the way your mind works, and also helps you to understand potential situations that you might find yourself in. So that's why you're here, probably. Not here to hear me talk about history and these sort of things, but why don't we get started? I'm going to, of course, shuffle a few times with the intention of having a good reading for all of you viewers. We've got fire, water, air, and earth, fire signs, water signs, air signs, and earth signs. And each of you will get a card, and hopefully it has some application to your life, or gives you a little bit of a insight, or at least a different perspective on what's going on. Hi, Heidi. How are you? Thanks for joining. Thanks a lot. Type in a question if you have into the chat, or send me a note offline through email or Instagram, Facebook. All right. Let's get this started. Let's do fire. Let's do water. Let's do air. Let's do earth. Fire, water, air, and earth. All right. Looks like we've got a bunch of reversed cards today, so let's take a look at what they all mean. So for you fire signs, that would be Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. You've got yourself there, the Queen of Swords. I hope you can see that okay. Queen of Swords. As you might remember, those of you who have been watching for quite a few episodes, the Court Royal cards usually end up being people in our lives, or energies that we need to bring into a situation or expect from a situation. So let's take a look at the Queen of Swords upright. Queen of Swords sitting there up on the zenith there. She's got a very clear mind. Take a look, that kind of halo about her. She's got a very clear and crystallized mind, and she's kind of guided by something greater. If you see that little angel that's kind of above her head, but she's tired. She's tired. She's sick of pulling the masks off of other people, kind of dealing with the bull dookie of other people, and she's kind of had a judgment. The sword pointing down, meaning that her thoughts are pretty settled now. Um, so for you fire signs, there might be something that you might be missing. You might not be making the right determination about a person in your life. Probably a woman of an older woman, older than, I don't know, 30s. Um, you're not seeing things clearly. You might be using projecting onto the person your goodness, or seeing them in a way that may not actually be accurate. Um, and that might have led to some conflict, or might lead to some conflict. The important thing to do and to remember for you fire signs is to trust your instinct. Don't necessarily think about things. Make sure you trust that higher power that's guiding you. Thinking can be a tricky thing. It can sometimes it gives you good information, and other times it guides you to mistakes. So kind of tuning into the other parts of your consciousness, whether it's your intuition, or your gut feeling, or um, something else, something more than just your mind. Um, it's going to require you to be judgmental in some ways, not necessarily in a negative way, but just discerning is probably a better word. Be discerning, and be ready to be judged too. There might be someone judging you, or you might be undergoing some kind of test. Someone might be testing you. So trust a higher power. Trust something other than your wits, and probably trust your gut. For you water signs, we've got the three of discs, and that has to do with money or physical well-being. And ironically enough, if you take a look around that pyramid there, it looks like a triangle, or looking down upon a three-sided pyramid. It's kind of spreading the waters. There's water around it. So this is kind of a call to you, dear water signs, to rely upon your skills, rely upon your abilities, um, despite some troubling or uneven waters, uneven emotionally. You might be feeling a little uneven emotionally. So this is kind of calling you to kind of come back into your center, come back into who you are. Rely upon the skills that you know how to do. Maybe bring someone else in for to bounce something off of. If you have an idea about something. But it's definitely a card of being settled and centered in your emotions. So water signs, be sure that you're kind of working hard, working smart is probably the better way. Don't work hard, work smart, and be sure that you are centered and not letting the emotions of the world um, take you over. For you air signs, that would be Libra, Aquarius, and Gemini. You've got the Chariot reversed. Let's take a look at Mr. Chariot upright. So you too, just like the water signs, there might be an emotionally, I guess, trying time. Not necessarily trying, but just a little ripples in terms of emotion. Maybe calling you to be more present in your emotions rather than always relying upon your quick wits and ability to think. Um, yeah, yesterday was the new moon, um, and so today is the first day after the new moon. So um, be aware of your emotions. Your emotions are going to be either tested, or you might be tested to make sure that you're connected with your emotions, particularly in the next 14 to 15 days that the moon starts getting um, uh, waxing gibbous. So next 2 weeks, so until the full moon, be aware of your emotions, be connected to them, and don't be afraid to kind of express them. And for you, earth signs, you've got the sun reversed. The sun is reversed. So, earth signs, have you been having enough fun recently, or are you kind of head down and doing work all the time and focusing on your material well-being and finances and body, but not necessarily having fun with it? It might be a time to kind of put a little difference into your normal routine, whether that's your workout or it's your job. Like, try and mix in a little bit of fun and happiness and joyfulness into it. So I'm not saying to shirk your duties, but just switch it up a little bit. Earth signs are, in general, creatures of habit. And while that's a great thing, sometimes it can get a little boring. So why don't you throw in a little bit of difference, or a little bit of a little kink in the normal day, and um, have some fun. Have some fun. Be spontaneous. Do something that you wouldn't normally do. If you have an invite to a party or an event that you wouldn't normally go to, check it out. See what you can do. Um, being with friends and being with maybe an important loved one is important for the next week. So that's it. Thank you again very much, Heidi. Thanks a lot for saying hi. I appreciate the note. Um, yeah, send send me a like, send me a subscribe, tell your friends, and we'll see you next week. Take care of yourself, and see you next week.